Get ready for the Organically Blunt Show, the podcast that dives deep into the world of cannabis with real, informative conversations. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just curious, light up and join the conversation. Let's get organically blunt. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Organically Blunt. I am Jay Blaze, your host, and this week we have a special guest with an innovative product that I think is going to help all of us. We have, and I want to make sure I say this right, Laura, correct? From MicroBIOMETER with us this evening. But before I get to anything, I got to kind of talk about what happened before I got on the show tonight. And I have the footage. I don't know if I'm going to put it up on Instagram if you guys want to see it or not, but I could. I was part of a standoff this evening. Yes, a police standoff. Our local Arby's, we had somebody, I don't know if it was a prior employee or somebody, but a woman in her 20s walked into our local Arby's as I was leaving Chick-fil-A this evening after getting dinner. And the police rush in. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck is going on here? Well, all of a sudden the police hit the curb, flings the door open, pulls his 9mm out. This person comes running out of Arby's and has a backpack on, grabs a pistol out of the back, and aims it at the police officer. I'm the first person on the scene. I busted the phone out. You know, I had to catch the finest. And I recorded the whole thing. And I commentated. And it's rated R, so I won't be sharing it right now, but I can definitely tell you it was very exciting. And I watched them shoot her with a taser beanball gun and drop her right in the parking lot. And then they proceeded to let a pepper bomb off to make sure she was fully disarmed before they cuffed and shackled her and put her in an ambulance. There was roughly 20 cop cars on scene and about 25 officers. So that was my excitement for today. I just figured I'd share that with y'all before we got to the show. It's been very interesting. So with that being said, Laura, welcome to the show. Sorry for the excitement and bringing everybody up to speed there, but definitely, you know, it was a very exciting evening. It's dangerous, you know. I see that stuff every day, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of my community. They need to do better. We need better handgun rights, and I'm not saying taking them away. I'm a country boy. I'm a hunter. I don't physically hunt, but I grew up hunting. I grew up protecting my family and knowing how to protect my family with a handgun. But at one time, I believe it can fall into the wrong hands of the youth and be used for the wrong things. And that's where I feel re-education needs to come on that and a stronger standpoint. And mental health awareness in our area is also big. You know, I just feel that is something I had to discuss with everybody. I just lost a good friend a couple of days ago. You guys seen the Instagram. He was riding his motorcycle, Dan the Man 511. You can check him out on Instagram. He's a great guy, a great part of this community. He was riding his motorcycle after work, and we had a Jeep pull out in front of him. And, well, the rest is history, let's just say. And long story short, he has a GoFundMe. I leaked it on our story. It might still be on there. If anybody can help, that would be great. We're trying to make him be remembered for the man he was and have a proper funeral. That's all I'm asking. So if anybody wants to give, we ask. If you can't, please at least share. So with that being said, welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for coming on the Organically Blunt Show. Laura, we want to hear about this innovative product. So I just got off the phone before I got on the air with you with a friend that's been an old farmer up in this area, agriculture. And we used to have to take our soil samples in to get them tested locally, you know, at the ag offices and stuff like that. And we have not seen something that is not only, what did I read? Is it 20 minutes results?
Yeah.
Okay, 20 minutes, and you can know what your soil is missing. So I'm going to let you to tell the rest of the information here and kind of fill us in on this awesome product, because I've already used it, and I'm actually preparing to do some testing here in the next couple of weeks, because we ended our soil run, our soil series. We tested 3 different kinds of soil. We did a test prior to using the soil. Now I want to test afterwards, and I want to see what has become expunged out of the soil and what would be required to revive that for proper growing. But before we get to that, I would love to hear about your product and your company.
Oh, good. Well, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry about your day and your week. Hopefully, this will be a bright spot in the day.
Definitely.
And just so everyone knows, we're giving one of these away too, to someone on the call, and we'll just ship it to you. It's easy peasy. This is the kit. It has 10 tests in it, but you refill it. And what it tests is for soil microbial biomass and fungal to bacteria ratio. So it tests one part of soil that we consider very vital to soil health, and certainly really vital to cannabis production, because those of you who are into mycorrhizal fungi know what that does for your cannabis. So it was developed actually by my mother. She was a hilarious person on podcasts, an 85-year-old gray-haired woman who grew her own cannabis around the pool, which is a little, she was very low tech on it. But what she developed was a test to say, instead of sending stuff away, particularly for developing countries, let's just see if we can get a test that someone can do right on site, particularly with fresh soil. So I'll talk a little bit about soil biology. You guys are all active growers, so we used to think about soil as sort of, I don't know, a vitamin, right?
Yep.
And so, you put a plant in it and it extracts stuff from the soil, and then the soil is no good, right? Unless you put more crap into it.
Right.
We've stopped that, right? Soil is a self-perpetuating system like the earth. If you treat it well, and you do the tenets of, it's called a lot of things, we call it regenerative growing, then your soil can be productive and more productive over time. So the tenets are, you want soil that is a good mix. You want soil that always has things growing in it. You don't want to pull out the roots, take off the leaves. You want all that stuff to go back into the soil. And you want to not disturb it all the time, right? So the old-fashioned tilling, particularly for fungal content, you till up the soil, it's gone. I mean, you could spend a year working on your soil microbes and everything and till it once and you're done. So cannabis growers in particular, because they are so directly consuming their product, but I'll say that all of us directly consume plants, right? So we should care as much about what's in our spinach, right, as we care what's in our cannabis. And a lot of organic growers are. So soil microbiology is made up of a lot of things, primarily bacteria, then fungi, nematodes, protozoa. Nematodes and protozoa, sad to say, in our test are destroyed. So moment of silence for nematodes, but they're pretty good. But it's a triangle. Microbes are like, for example, Jay, you have more nuclei of bacteria in your body than human nuclei. So in terms of mass, you are more human, but in terms of sort of cell count, right? Because bacteria are very little, your cells are bigger, you are mostly bacteria. So lots and lots of bacteria. Fungi, again, much fewer of them, but they consume bacteria. So you have to build your soil up from the bottom. So one of the ways this helps growers is have them assess, where's my soil in terms of microbial count? And when I do stuff, right, if I have a compost tea, or I add something, or I put in a mycorrhizal fungi, is it working? So you can test your soil before, right? And then test your soil a week or two after. I did about 2 years ago during COVID a test where I had a couple plants. I kind of did it wrong. I'm not really a scientist, so my control wasn't great. But I had 2 plants. They were different strains. And I put mycorrhizal on one and not on the other. And I tested them before and after. And the fungal content shot up. And the total microbial content also shot up. And that told me that the product that I bought that was fairly expensive worked, right?
Right.
If I had been smart, I would have had the same strain. And then I would have, harvested them and seen what the difference is. But I didn't do that. It was not in the cards for me. But so that's what the test is. You do it yourself. You read it on the cell phone. Now, people and growers and farmers still send in their soil for chemical testing, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, which is important. But, and this is more to do with agriculture, there's a lot of nutrients in the soil that's just not bioavailable to plants because the symbiosis between plants and microbes is so important. Microbes mine nutrients in the soil that a plant can't get directly. So if you don't have microbes, that's why you have to throw all these fertilizers in, right? All this nitrogen goes into the goddamn soil, goes into the water. It costs a lot of money. It's bad. But if you have,
it tastes nasty.
Yeah. I mean, and we're not even going to talk about herbicides and pesticides because that's
right.
given. But if you have microbes in there mining stuff from the soil, right? Then you don't have to use all that stuff, right? That's not to say that if you grow cannabis, you shouldn't be curating your soil, right? So I saw your show on worm castings. Those are amazing, right?
Definitely.
So there's a lot of amazing product. A lot of people have luck with biochar, right? To put in. And a lot of products that work for soil are products that feed microbes, not products that feed plants directly. So if you can get your microbes up and I got distracted. I participated a little earlier. I'm a little there. But so growers who are doing agriculture can send their soil out for the chemical testing. But the problem is that usually those labs are associated with pharmaceutical / chemical companies, and they say, oh, throw all this stuff down, right? It's prescriptive. And our test, it's kind of a weakness, but we consider it a strength. We don't tell you what to do. You're growing your own soil, you're growing your own plant, right? It's a journey for you of learning. We'll give you the information, but we're not going to tell you what to do. One, because we sell in 80 countries. I have no idea what someone in Israel should do. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what's going on. And I don't know what you want out of your soil. So everyone who uses our product is someone who just went on the web, got frustrated with how things are done, and knows they have to put in the super hard work. But it's really fun. I have to say, you get an app out. We're going to put in a thing so you can do a graph. I'm an accountant, so I love graphs, but you guys probably don't. So you can see over time what's happening to your microbes. I will say, I'll talk about microbes all the live long day, but microbes fluctuate naturally through the growing cycle. So if you have dormant soil or it's cold, excuse me, they'll be a little lower. But our test picks up spores. And microbes reproduce every 15 minutes if the conditions are right. So you don't have to worry about, you usually don't have to worry about putting microbes into the soil, right? Sometimes you do, but if you put microbes into soil that cannot sustain microbial life, because there's no organic matter, there's no roots, there's no water even, then you're just wasting money. It's like taking a bunch of us, throwing us in the desert and saying, go, without food and water, we're going to die. So the test is, but when they send out roots and exudates, it stimulates microbial growth because when the plant needs more food, it actually barters with the microbes to get them to trade. So it takes stuff from the sun. It takes nutrients from the sun and energy and feeds the microbes in a really cool way. Those who are super dorky about it should get this book. I know you've had Jeff Lowenfeld's on before.
I got all of them right here.
Yeah.
I promise, every single one of them.
Yeah.
All of his books. Yep.
They're crazy. His videos about how fungi and roots,
amazing.
Roots take in microbes, extract nutrients, and give them other microbes, and then sort of eject them out. Although a lot of them get eaten. It's sort of not he had it sound like it's sort of a beautiful system, but then a lot of them die.
Yep.
So when you have soil, there are things you still need to do to it. But this will help you say, I'm super into biology. I want my biology to be high. The other weird thing is that when your cannabis plant goes to flower, right? It takes all of its energy and just like humans, gives it to its babies. So when a plant goes to flowering, there's often a downturn in the microbes, right? Because that bartering is not there. And then, of course, when the plant is at the end of the season and it dies, the microbial count will go down, but then it'll come back up. So there's a natural cycle, but then you can impact it. And certainly weather impacts everything too. So the test is very cool. It's like a little science experiment. The app has pictures and videos. Takes 20 minutes. You go through, you get your count right away. It goes into the app. And if you have a particular plant that you're tracking, you can, like all apps, set parameters up so you can see how that plant is doing over time. And if you're growing outside, if you're growing outside, you can GPS locate where you took the sample. So you take it from the same spot every year.
Wow. I didn't know that part. I've used it once on our first beginning, and I shared some of the samples, but I'm going to compare the before and after and show everybody here in a couple of weeks. I've got everything. It's been a while since we've harvested, but I got everything sitting in my hallway in the pots still. So the soil is dry, but I wanted it dried out because I re-amend everything. And before I re-amend it all, I'm going to take a sample from each one, and I'm going to share them results on the channel. I was just setting up so we could give one of those away this evening. I was just getting the keyword set up here and getting everything, all the logics on this side done. But I run a computer that is over 10 years old, and it's been updated, but it's a dinosaur. So you got kind of got to work with them a little bit here.
And then for those of you who don't win, we have a coupon code of 15%. I can't write in the chat for some reason, but
wow, that's weird.
Maybe you can. It's blunt15, and that code will work for a long time. So maybe you can put it in there.
Well, what we can do is I can redesign and add our outro that we play at the end of every episode, and every company that we work with, we give out the code and everything, and we put their ad up, and it helps us all kind of grow, because all the funds that we do make off this show actually go right back into it. And I don't make a lot. A lot of this came out of my pocket that people don't see, and we definitely. So I want to make sure I put this in here, right? MicroBIOMETER. And is that a starter pack? Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, this is a starter pack. It's got, it says 10, but we give you 5 extra. So 15 in there. Okay. And if anyone has questions about, one of the fun things, if there's enough people too who grow, or people who can share amendments that work and stuff. So don't just ask me questions, but
Definitely. Now, before I get this going, I do have a couple questions I want to ask you. I don't want to get it going too soon here, but one of the questions that we do have to ask, because we do have international viewers, is this U.S. and Canada only, or can we go international with it?
You could go international. We're in 80 countries, and actually most of our sales are international. So we ship direct. We are a U.S. company that does all the manufacturing. I mean, there's 3 of us.
Sure.
Yeah, there's 3 of us. We do all the manufacturing and shipping and fulfillment ourselves. So no Amazon for us. And we ship all over the world. Some countries that are a little tricky to get to, we have distributors who can help us with customs. But yeah, and it's flat shipping around the world of $40. So, but US, Canada is free shipping.
You hear that, Mad Dog? I know you're out there. I see you in the chat. Mad Dog is from the other side of the pond, and unfortunately, we couldn't ship him a pack of seeds, and I felt so guilty that I was like, man, because they wouldn't ship to the UK. So
yeah, no, we
Mad Dog.
Yeah, we could ship, and we have a lot of users in the UK. So the Europe is sort of significantly more progressive than the United States. So
definitely. So you guys, I'm going to open this giveaway up here in a minute here. I got to go in here and edit it one more time. I actually made the timer for an hour. We don't want it that long. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in for 15 minutes here, guys. and I want you guys to get in it. Now I'm going to play that while we ask her the generalized questions we always ask everybody. So we're going to get that going. Pay attention, chat. 1 second here. All right, they should come through here in a minute here, guys, but the keyword is going to be I think it's biometer. There we go. Yep, exclamation mark, biometer. To enter the raffle, 15 minutes, open now. All right, so with that being said, we want to hear a little bit about your cannabis journey as a person. And that being said, the first question I typically ask everybody, I don't know if somebody's running a vacuum back there.
Oh, yep, that's my husband. Hold on.
All right.
The good side of working from home, right?
Yeah, it happens. I wasn't sure if it was on my end or your end.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so with that being said, the first question we typically ask everybody is, how old were you when you first came across cannabis, and where'd you get it from? Sorry, I got tongue-tied there.
I'm going to tell a sort of a funny story. So I'm probably a little older than most people. I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up with sort of hippie parents. So we knew that they smoked, they called it weed. Every once in a while, we thought it was sort of funny. But one year I was in high school. So in high school, people smoked. I grew up in the East Coast. It wasn't a big deal. But I was in high school, but I had a much younger sister. She was like 7 or 8. And we're there one year, me and my older sister, and it's Christmas Eve. Okay. My aunt and uncle are over. I know they smoked, and we're old enough, right? And
Sure.
my little sister puts out for Santa cookies and milk, right? And they put her to bed, and me and my sister go up. We start drinking, and that smell of pot just all over the house. And we sneak downstairs, and my parents and my aunt and uncle are just giggling their ass off, smoking pot, right? Christmas morning comes, and Diane comes down. And she goes, "Oh my God, Santa ate the cookies," right? So me and my sister look at them and say, "Yeah, apparently Santa had the munchies." And it was like catching a teenager. They were so embarrassed. It was hilarious. And we finally told my sister that story lately. But I didn't actually smoke it like myself until I was out of college. I don't quite know why. Probably, back then I grew up near New York City. I really had a feeling that I didn't want to participate in the drug trade, right? Even passively. I was also, a suburban girl, probably a little nervous. But I moved to Alaska after college, and there it was much more common. People grew it. Frankly, we're farther away from, South America, where a lot of the violence is. So a lot of it came from Canada. And then, of course, it became legal. I live in Washington State many, many years ago. So it just sort of became something that people, do anywhere. And when my sons got older, they wanted to grow it. So we grew it as a mother-son project, which is really appropriate. They were old enough, so it's not a problem. And that was really fun. I realized that, like ice cream, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to grow it. It was a lot of work.
Some people are like that, Some people just love it. Me, it's like my children, literally I nurture them every day, and
yeah,
it's just my thing, it gives me peace. It's my zen. Now, some people, it might be too much, but
yeah, well,
I'm surrounded by agriculture here. So it's a small one light town, and that I personally live in. And people are farmers here. Like we're sweet corning it up right now. I mean, people are going nuts for it.
And the company is located on a farm, so we don't grow it there, but we've grown a couple plants outside, and they do beautifully because deer don't really like to eat them, which is kind of a win. And so, at certain times we'll go to the barn and it'll smell because people are drying stuff. But that's mostly friends of the farm come over and use the land, which is absolutely fine.
Definitely. So when you do smoke, and these guys are going to get mad because I'm going to make them hungry. But when you do smoke, everybody has a go-to munchie. What is yours? Is it something sweet, salty, sour, cereal, fruit?
You
We
know,
heard it all.
I have to say it does not make me hungry.
Okay.
So, which is a little odd because most people do.
Right.
Although if I overindulge and there's Oreos, I will make myself sick on them. So,
Oh, right. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Oh, yeah. I've been there. I can imagine. Oh, yeah. That was not a good night for me back in college. I remember eating a whole pack of those.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. So, is is the family is still into the cannabis as a family still on your end? I mean, everybody still partakes, or is
Well,
kind of some people
my
don't like it?
my parents passed away this year.
Oh, bless
Um,
them.
Yeah, and it's sort of funny because now my parents and their generation are a little older, and
Sure.
I swear to God, everyone over 80 does cannabis. Like my mother-in-law was in the hospital. In the hospital, they give them things to make them eat. So it's really funny. It's sort of like now it's what old people do. I get well, everyone does it, but so my parents passed away. They did use it before, particularly my father. It was really, really
Sure.
helpful at the end of his life to relax. And he couldn't
Yep.
drink alcohol, so he would actually smoke with his grandkids,
Yep.
which was fun. And he was kind of a lightweight, so it was hilarious. Um,
Yeah.
and my kids, my son and I enjoy just like if you're sitting around having a beer. He's in college now.
Yeah.
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 And they're really good at rolling and they want me to learn, but I figure I have them, so I'm not going to learn.
Yep. My
And I
my grand. Sorry. Go ahead.
and I prefer I probably can't put it on the screen. I don't like I prefer a rolled. It feels sort of ceremonial, I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah. It's got that sentimental hand
and it has
touch, I
it has
guess
some
you'd say.
ceremony to it, like you're sitting
Yep.
out there, you're smoking,
Yep.
you're getting happier and chiller. Um, Passing it around, it makes you feel like you're 17 again at a campfire.
Exactly. It's got that nostalgic feeling to it. Definitely. My grandfather, he had cancer before he passed, is what I was about to say. And he went through 48 treatments of radiation. It went benign from the prostate, and then he came back in the colon, went from the colon to the stomach before he passed from COVID 3 years ago when I found him. But long story short, I remember the first time me and him smoked together, and it's a story. I gotta laugh about it every time. It's just funny because I'm driving down the road. Yeah, knock on wood. You're not supposed to drive and smoke. I'm guilty, whatever. But long story short, I treat it. I'm functionable. I know that's weird, but long story short, he hits me on the shoulder and he says, "Let me hit that." I said, I almost went off the road. I looked at this man. He was 80 years old. He said, "Let me hit that." I said, "You got to be shitting me right now." He said, "No, I need it for my pain." I said, "Okay." And then he started rolling like backwood leaves, what they call backwood leaves, like a tobacco leaf. And
Yeah.
he would roll these tobacco leaves, but he would dip them in bourbon overnight and then let them dry. And
Oh.
then he would roll them in honey, and then he would roll them in keef. And he was making his own moon rockets his own way. And
Oh.
it was what he liked, and I guess it was what he liked. Kentucky bourbon, Kentucky bourbon wrapped uh, blunts, essentially. They were
Yeah.
his friend. But that's how he fought his pain with cancer until he passed from COVID, unfortunately. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We got about 5.5 minutes, guys, left on this drawing. So if you haven't got entered, get entered. We have 8 in chat live, and we have 7 entries. So somebody hasn't entered yet. So make sure you get in on this because it's a really cool and useful tool that I think anybody can use. Now, I had a question pop up from a friend of mine. I know this is soil related, but he wanted to know, and maybe you can't, now that I know it's probably a dumb question, but could this be used in a cocoa setup?
So this test is designed for natural soil. So
Okay.
essentially agricultural soil. It's a little bit of a complex answer because we rely on the pigmentation that microbes absorb from natural soil. Now,
Sure.
if you're using something so hydroponics, we do not work in hydroponics.
Sure. Okay.
And as a mission company, we are into real agriculture. So hydroponics, while it has its place, is sort of not our space. If your soil is very, if a lot of the stuff came from the kitchen or somewhere weird, and you have a lot of artificial, or not artificial, but sort of non-soil pigmentation in it, you could get erroneous results. So if it's just cocoa coir and nothing else, you actually won't be able to do the test because you take soil and you put it in a water solution, right?
Yeah. Right.
The same is true as if you have a very high level of probably no one uses perlite, but biochar. If you put a lot of things into the soil, our soil takes half a milligram of, or a test takes half a milligram of soil. So if half of your milligram of soil is something that fills up the space, then it's going to be, the results are going to be lower than they sort of would normally. So really, this is a test for soil. If you're using something strange, it's not, you can try it, but it's not going to be that reliable.
Right. Yep. I just figured I'd ask. One of my best friends here, I've been using a lot of local amendments in soils lately, is he's actually a registered geologist with Michigan State University. He's a professor there, and he's a geologist who runs his own soil company called Country Roots. And he builds his own biochar. He does his own worm castings. He's doing all his own amendments locally, but we're working on getting it nationally. There's a potentially possible chance here in a couple of weeks. Well, actually, 29 days from today, I'm supposed to go with him to deliver 16 yards of soil, because I have a CDL and he needs a driver, to New York. I've never been to New York. Yep, I'm so excited because I actually have the Statue of Liberty and the Twin Towers tattooed on my chest because I'm patriotic and because it's my mother's birthday, as weird as it sounds. But yeah, definitely, I've always wanted to see the city. I'm not a city person, but I want to see it. And if this is an opportunity and it's still going to go, and we hope these people still want to make a soil order, we're going to go out there because it's cheaper for us to drive it there than it is to freight it there, believe it or not. So
we have a lot of groups in cities, New York, that use it when they are working on urban gardens or even urban lands to try to revitalize it, because so much of it has been mistreated. So cities are getting, particularly New York, are getting really quite progressive. It's kind of exciting.
Definitely, that's impressive. Because then they're putting back into the green space. They're revitalizing the life, and they're bringing it back to where it needs to be. We only have one planet, like I tell everybody, and not even that, but we only have so much land, and more people just keep coming. So eventually we're going to run out of land eventually. So we got to keep what we got as healthy as possible. Because if we keep paving over it with concrete, we ain't going to have much left.
Yeah.
And that's how climate change is changing, because there's not enough green space. So we need more of it, definitely. So if you could smoke with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why? But I want the first organic thought that pops in your head.
I mean, my father just passed away, so I'd bring him back and I'd sit out at night and look at the fireflies at the farm, and I'd smoke with him.
Oh, that would be awesome. Definitely. Yeah, that's
my mother, who grew it, was a terrible smoker. She she would, not inhale and then say she was too stoned. So she wasn't very good. Wouldn't take her.
Definitely. Okay. So, we typically go an hour. I don't want to keep things going that long tonight because I know your husband probably wants to do some vacuuming.
Oh,
I'm kidding, by the way. And but it looks like we got about 20 seconds left on this giveaway, and I have one person that hasn't entered in the chat, and so you better get on it. 15 seconds, and then we'll have the bot close the contest, and we'll pick a winner for this. And what I require you guys to do is send me an email or a message on Instagram. Our email is organicallyblunt@gmail.com with your username, and so it matches up, and your address and your mailing information. We will get it over to Laura, and she'll get us the tracking number, and we'll make sure you get it so you know when it comes to your doorstep. And that way we know nobody's cheated here. We're not saying anybody will, but we want to make sure it's validated. So the raffle has ended, everybody, and we have 8 entries. And here we go. We're going to pick a winner. Drum roll. All right, here we go. And the winner is, it should be coming across the chat any minute here. It's a little delayed.
Tina?
Tina, you have won. Congratulations, Tina. You're one of the newer people on the channel. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I need you to subscribe to our channel if you're not a subscriber, Tina, and show me a screenshot that you are a subscriber. Along with, if you have Instagram, we would like you to follow MicroBIOMETER and screenshot that as well. I know it's a little bit of work, but we have to have this validated that you support us. Because if you're going to be a part of our community and win prizes, you have to be a supporter. That's all we ask. And congratulations. This should do awesome in your garden. And once again, reach out to us either on Instagram or through email, organicallyblunt@gmail.com, and we will get the rest taken care of for you and get this shipped out to you. Definitely. So congratulations.
And one other thing I'd say.
Josh, the bot did not. It said that Josh won too, but I think the bot picked 2 winners, and I wasn't supposed to do that, so I apologize.
Well, we can give Josh one too. Does Josh want one? Write it.
Josh, do you want a kit? Because the bot, he said he knows it. So there you go. I guess we gave 2 away on accident tonight. I apologize for that one.
You know, that's the nice thing about running your own company. You can give stuff away.
Definitely. I do it too. You know, I'm giving away a complete mystery grow box in another Facebook group that we became part of locally. And I could not believe how big it's grown on a local standpoint. It's called Glove Buds. You guys can find it on Facebook if you want to check it out. They have, I want to say it was like 1,400 members right now. So we're going to do something in there, kind of get back to the local community here in West Michigan. But anybody's welcome to check it out if you're from the Michigan area. But I do apologize that the bot hit the button twice. You know, that things happen. But we got it taken care of, and we appreciate your generosity on that. I do have one more giveaway I'm going to open up while I'm just sitting here enjoying the rest of my smoke before we let you go for the evening.
Yeah, what's the etiquette? Do we have to go off screen? Is that the YouTube?
You can do whatever you want because this is organically blunt, and we don't care.
I was on one podcast, and you had to talk about medicinal plants.
Oh, no, you know, this is 2023, and if you, I opened my email here.
Well, no, we made a cannabis ad. We loved it.
Right. Yep.
Our tagline was "Healthy soil, healthy high," and we got taken off Google and everything. They wouldn't let us use it because it just showed this plant.
Sure. No problem. Sorry to cut you off. Josh, what you need to do is just send me an email if you got an email, organicallyblunt@gmail.com, and let me know you won. And show me that you subscribe to the channel if you don't have Instagram. The Instagram is just to help us all build a better community around all of us, you know. MicroBIOMETER, we got to show the support to them because they showed us some support tonight. But if you don't have Instagram, the least you can do, I'll tell you what you can do for me. When you win it and you try it, shoot me a picture with you holding the case, and we'll put it on our Instagram to show the support. You know, we'll give them a shout out that way. If you don't personally have an Instagram, we just want to be able to give back to them and let them get some of the limelight here because they came on the show and they offered a couple great products to you guys. So that's all we can ask. You know, we appreciate you, Laura. And each week we do what we call the Seeds of Bounty when we do a live
You're going
episode.
off.
And what that is we partner with a weekly different seed banks we work with, and we give away a mystery pack of seeds. Now, this week I am working with Captain Redbeard. We haven't worked with him in a while, and he actually just opened his own restaurant out in Oregon. I forget the name of it. It's something Duck. I'll get the name of it if anybody's in that area and wants to check it out. It's in Eugene. And long story short, he's got some of the greatest genetics, and he just started his own YouTube channel. So make sure you search him out. He's known as Captain Redbeard, so CB Consulting. You can find CB Consulting on YouTube, and he'll show you guys exactly how your seeds are bred and where they came from, you know, because everybody wants to know where their seeds came from. You know, they don't want to just get the pack and be like, oh, it's this. Let's truly know what it is and how they were bred and where they came to be. So with that being said, we're going to open up the Captain Redbeard mystery pack giveaway, the Seeds of Bounty. And I got to change. I'm going to start it, but it's going to be biometer again for the keyword. We're not going to change it because I'm not going to go through all that right now. But here we go. And it's going to be open for 3 minutes, so get on that. Yeah, so he just started his channel, guys. Captain Redbeard just started it like 2 days ago. He's got a couple videos on it. He's trying to build some content. He's trying to get more involved and show you guys behind the scenes the breeding and show you there's no secrets here. So that's definitely, you know, that is how it goes, definitely, you know, and we want to be as clear and precise and show you guys that we have nothing to hide in this community, you know, and that's why I told her she can go ahead and smoke, because the other channels wouldn't allow that, you know. But me, I don't care because I grew up around it just like you did. My parents we lived in a farmhouse, and we had these, I call them Western doors on the kitchen, like shutters, literally like a bar door, shutters, like a saloon door. And my parents used to shut them doors and go in there and smoke and tell us kids we weren't allowed in the kitchen. Now, we had a 1960s style kitchen. I'm talking with the old style 1960s farm style kitchen table that was painted canary yellow with the loop legs on it with the matching chairs. And they would all sit around it and smoke, and we would peek through there and see what they were doing. And one time I got so mad, I went in the cupboard and I took the ounce out. I didn't know it was an ounce, but now I do. And dumped it in the toilet and flushed it because they made me mad. We weren't allowed in there, you know. But as a kid, my parents actually had 55-gallon terracotta plants in our living room with clip lights on it. And we grew plants in our living room as a kid, and we weren't allowed to touch them. You know, you don't touch that. That was all we knew. We didn't know what they were. So we grew up around it too, you know. So I don't have no problem hiding it, because for me, it's a medicine. And for somebody else, it might be something just to help them relax. It's no different than a beer, you know. So if they can have Bud Light and Budweiser and Anheuser and Corona and any other brand you can think of on YouTube showing commercials or showing sporting events or anything else, there's no reason why we can't neither. And that's just my vision, you know. And definitely, we have about 30 seconds left on this giveaway, and then I will have them pick a winner, and then we'll give Laura back the mic for a couple minutes and fill us in on anything we might have missed and anything she wants us to know about, and we'll let her go for the evening. So here we go, 20 seconds. And we have 8 entries on that as well. So like I said, you guys, if you win tonight, make sure you reach out via email or Instagram, organicallyblunt@gmail.com, or just organicallyblunt on Instagram, and let me know that you won tonight. Because my inbox is so crazy. If you just try to tell me or don't email me and it gets moved to the top, I won't ever find it, especially if you won before and you just say, oh, go back and look. No, because I've got probably 20,000 emails. I'm bad at that. So it is ended, guys. We are going to pick a winner. And here we go. Good luck, everybody. And I think it should be coming across. Lone Star LARP. I think this is the first time you've won with us, if I recall. So definitely congratulations, Lone Star. Once again, like I said, reach out Instagram or email. Let me know that you won. Put your screen name as the subject, and we'll make sure you get that taken care of. He's got some great genetics. He's got some cool stuff coming out. You can check his catalog out online, Captain Redbeard. You can use keyword organically blunt, save you some money. You can head over to MicroBIOMETER and use blunt 15 anytime and save yourself some money there, because we all love to save money and we all love to support this industry. So with that being said, Laura, the mic is now yours once again, and we would love to hear anything you'd like to share with us.
Oh, I guess I was just going to say one thing is the test also works for compost teas. So if you're using that, it's a good way to kind of see what level your compost teas are at. And the other thing I was going to say is that it's just sort of a shout out to the cannabis community, particularly the home growers. I wish I had a better name for that, because you really have driven a lot of the amendments that are biologically driven, that are organically driven, that are healthy to eat, that improve the quality of food. And a lot of that stuff has trickled from the grow store into real growers out in the real world growing food. And so I think the focus that's been shown on innovation, on information, on multiple products and testing is just really incredible. So I just don't think that the cannabis growing community gets a lot of notice for that by regular agriculture, but there's a pretty big overlap. And so I think that's great. So keep up the good work, right?
Definitely. And if you ever get the chance, you got to come out here to Michigan to some of these events. If you ever get a chance and you just want to see some beautiful scenery and you want to, I keep being told that we have the greatest cannabis community in the United States here in Michigan. And I can't believe it when people tell me it because I experience it myself firsthand. I don't know what it's like in other places, but even people from California. So if you get a chance and you want to see some great music or anything, you're always welcome here. So I just figured I'd open the arms to you.
Good. And have fun in New York.
Oh, I'm hoping we get to go, because he was still on the fence on it. But if we do, you like this is my excitement for the whole year, because I want to go so bad. I had a chance to do a produce run as a truck driver up there, and I didn't get to take the run. It was a flatbed run, and I was a newer driver, and it was delivering actually produce to Times Square. And I was just like, yeah, I am not going to be able to do that with that traffic. So I turned that load down. But now that I get to go, and it's a box truck, it's not a semi, so it's a little bit
can enjoy
smaller. Yes, I can enjoy it, and I can drive if I have to, and we're going to have a great time, And if we don't go to that, we are planning, though. He did mention we might possibly go to the Organic Cup, because I actually have friends that put that on out there. If you haven't heard of that, check it out. Definitely, because maybe you guys could get some involvement with that there, because you got some roots there. My friend Michael Fang, is Fang 4 with a bunch of 4s instead of the A. You can find him on Instagram. Is the one that puts this on, and he is a big breeder. He is very well known. He's got some very premium cuts that would blow your mind when it comes to cost, but it comes with the testing behind it. I mean, who do you know that sells a $2,500 or a $10,000 cut of a plant? Yeah. So I mean, it's all organic cup, and they do amazing things out there. So yeah, definitely. I know, Mad Dog, you want some seeds, but we can't get them to you. I wish I could get them to the side of the pond. I've gotten them from you guys. I just can't get them back to you. I don't know how that works. I'm not in that industry. So with that being said, we appreciate you coming on the Organically Blunt Show. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. We will continue to make some content with ours, because, like I said, in a couple, maybe this weekend, if I can get out and get some time, I'm going to try to get some samples of each one here throw an hour to the side and take 3 samples and produce the results and show you guys what these plants have sucked out of the soil, because we went and used ProMix, we used Home Living Soil, and we used Coastal Maine, but it was re-amended with our friend Jeremy from Build a Soil. We used his 3.0 mix and worm casting. So we're going to see what got ate up the most, because I can tell you from the run alone that the ProMix finished in third, because it didn't really have a lot in it. It don't. And I had to add CalMag because the plant started having deficiency issues. So, you know, we'll see what got ate up. I'm curious, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, thank you so much. This was fun, and I'm glad to at least see everyone in the chat. And have a good night.
You have a great evening. Thank you for joining Organically Blunt. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks.
Let's take a second to thank our partners. Grow Strong Industries, the makers of Gorilla Grow Tent, Kind LED, and Lotus Nutrients. For the strongest tents in the industry, Gorilla Grow Tent has you covered. Kind LED for quality bar-style lighting with UVB technology. And Lotus Nutrients. Take the guesswork out of feeding your plants and building a healthy root system. The HLG Scorpion 700R is a quality light built in the U.S. by Horticulture Lighting Group. If you're looking for quality results, Humboldt Seed Company, with over 20 years experience in Humboldt County, Humboldt's first seed. Captain Redbeard Seeds, genetics that are loyal to the soil. Lost Coast Plant Therapy, an all-organic IPM solution. Build a soil loyal to the soil. Country Roots, farmers helping farmers build quality soil and amendments. Smoke and Stork Genetics, genetics that are truly a flight above. Seedsman Genetics, a seed company that has been in business for over 20 years. Fish Shit, an all-natural soil conditioner. Sulfem Genetics. Green Wolf Genetics. Extreme Gardening, world-leading microcryosine. Dry tents, because we all need a place to dry our harvest. Rain Science Grow Bags, made in America and the most durable bag on the market. Thanks for listening to Organically Blunt, raw, uncut, and unedited. If you like this episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And you can email us at organicallyblunt@gmail.com. You can also follow us where you listen to podcasts